Hello once again, Star Wars and Unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba. And today we are getting into some high-end collectibles again. Yes, I have made a commitment and I've started making some big purchases for some more high-end items. I recognize that they get the most views, and I do recognize and there's not much else out there that's available. So we're going to go with an older item, or I say older, 2019, so not that old, but we're looking at Count Dooku today. Now, I will say that this was not an original purchase, meaning I did not purchase this through Sideshow. Instead, I went to my local comic distributor and made a purchase there. Now, I did this for several reasons. Number one, I wanted something right away, and I felt that when you order on through Sideshow, a lot of times things get, you either you choose to make payments and they don't send it to you until all the payments are made, or the stuff that comes in, there's just a lot of pre-ordering. So I opted instead to, I wanted to go to a store, pick something up, and take it home. So I actually purchased this week. And the other reason for that is because I do believe you should support your local brick and mortar store. Now, there's a lot of views on this, okay? And I will talk about that. Obviously, if you go to a place like a comic book dealer, oftentimes they have action figures of every kind there, and oftentimes those are purchased through scalping, or purchased by scalpers, or by people that just order a bunch of stuff online and then put them in their stores and maybe sell them at a slightly inflated price, or a not so slightly inflated price, and you have to kind of pay for that. And I get that, and I understand that, and I don't agree with it. However, at the same time, I feel that comic book distributors especially, these are people, brick and mortar, these are people that pay rent, and they hire people to work there, and they stock shelves, and a lot of their business is comic books, and I'm not really a comic book reader, okay, but they have a lot of other collectibles and things that they do that help their bottom line and help keep them in business. So I feel like if you want to have some of the, I felt this way about all kind of retail purchases, there are a lot of things you have to do, and I know everyone's like trying to save money, and I get that, but I pick and choose. And I think that, one of the things I pick and choose is to try to support, maybe not every single day, but I try to support my local comic book stores to keep them in business, because I like having comic book stores. I like having a place I can go just to look at all sorts of different, genre collectible type things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love shopping on eBay and shopping on Amazon and all the different online retailers like Sideshow, but I would hate it if there was never a place that you could go to buy a figure. I hope we don't go down that road. I hope that there's always at least some area that we can do that. I mean, of course, you also have places like toy shows and things like that, which I've done and I've taken part in, and I will continue to. But this is kind of where I look at it and say, all right, let's do this for once in a while. So I purchased this in one of our local places, okay? There is a price tag on here, $259.99, all right, $260, which is actually pretty close to the original price. So they either got a deal or when they bought it, or they worked directly through Sideshow and were able to work out a deal where maybe they didn't have to pay the full price. Maybe Sideshow got a cut. I'm not sure. So this is Count Dooku, 1/6 scale collectible figure. Obviously, Count Dooku from Episode 2 and a little bit of Episode 3. But his main movie was Attack of the Clones, played by the wonderful, brilliant actor Christopher Lee. One of the best parts of Episode 2, in my humble opinion. A fantastic actor, just brought a lot of gravitas to the role. And I felt like I was, when he was doing this little banter between, when fighting Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then Yoda, I got to remember, we're talking about 2002. I was brought very much back to the original trilogy. I was brought very much back to the whole Vader, Obi-Wan, Vader, Luke banter that goes on. With Episode 1, killer, awesome saber duel between Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon. But there was no talk. There was no conversation. It wasn't meant to be. It was good that there wasn't. But it was nice to see that banter again. Like parry, dodge, hit. And then I will say something. And then someone else will say something. And then hit, block, hit, block, lit. And then you go on. So it was a kind of a cool thing. So if you haven't seen that movie, excuse me, go see Episode 2. You know, watch it on Disney Plus or wherever you get that. So let's get going with Count Dooku. First, let's talk about the box. Okay. Trying something new today. You'll notice that those who have been watching my episodes, I keep trying different things. Having the camera a little closer so I don't have to constantly be putting in photos. Okay. So here we have a nice thing. I like this little overflap that they're kind of adding to it. Just, I'm not quite sure why. Maybe just to kind of give a little color to the box. Okay. Not much on the back, just some information. But again, this was released in 2019. It's Hot Toys Limited. Okay. And it's what they call it, the Movie Masterpiece series. Okay. So, and again, no, Hot Toys, the quintessential action figure, high-end 12-inch action figure distributor these days. Okay, open it up. There you have this awesome posed picture. The pictures that they do are absolutely, you know, I was taking pictures myself and it's great, and I'll put some pictures in too. But the pictures that we take don't do this justice. I mean, the way they capture the essence of the figure and essence of the character rather. And now with like all of the amazing digital scanning they can do, it's just amazing. So, and episode 2 was around the time that they started really getting into that. So I don't know if this was something that was done prior to that. I'm not sure. I also like the way he's set up here. So now, for those of you that are new to this is how these figures are packaged. You'll notice that there are 4 set 1, 2, 3 and a half different types of hands. Okay, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 right hands and 3 left hands, along with whatever they have. And there is a 4th one here. And this is they come with this like extended arm. I'll be honest with you, my one big complaint about Sideshow / Hot Toys when it comes to that type of thing, this arm is a battery-powered arm, okay? And that means that you can press something and it lights up the saber. It's awesome. It's great. Except that I have had struggles with every figure that I've tried to attach that. So I'm not even going to bother with this one. I'm just going to attach an unlit lightsaber, and we'll go from there. If I want to change that later on, I know where I can do that. So it also comes with a few holograms and a couple of other things. So some pretty cool options here. So let's get this thing out of here. I'm going to just kind of stack up all my stuff here. All right, and as far as hands are concerned, I hope I don't have to change hands, but again, the changing of the hands and the arms and things like that, you know, it's not that challenging, but it's challenging, and it's kind of a pain. So I try not to, just because if I do, it almost ends up always taking time and having a hard time putting it back and everything else. Always good to have a blade with you just to kind of help cut out the bags. Yes, to those new to the channel, I do unbox. I'm not an apologist for that. I love unboxing, especially the high-end toys. To spend hundreds of dollars on a toy and leave it in a package, to me, is kind of a stupid thing to do. But that's just me. And again, I guess where I am coming from. Pardon me, can't talk today. Where I'm coming from with that is very simple. When you purchase something of this nature, I mean, it's like people purchasing a car, like a classic car, only to store it somewhere. I mean, it's one thing if the car is in a garage that you have on display and you can get into it and you can turn it on and you can maybe drive it around a little bit and put it back. That's one thing. But if you're talking like the Ferris Bueller Day Off kind of thing, where there's a car that sits in a glass room that never gets driven, that just sits there, I don't know. I feel like it's meant to be, there's meant to be more done than just that. I feel very strongly about it. All right, but it does look like he is going to need to change a hand. So before I get too comfortable, I have to say this though, that like the cloth that they make everything with is so cool. I don't know if they're using the exact material that was from the original uniforms, or if they're just using something that's a great facsimile for miniature versions of it. But this is really nice, and I've always loved his outfit. I always loved the brown and black kind of overtones. I thought it was really great. So, but he needs a right hand grip. So let's see. This is left, right. Okay, so looks like he's going to need, I can get it open here without having, I don't want to have 58, or no, I guess it's 7 hands go flying, but it might happen, so we'll see. All right. So yeah, here's the grip hand. I'll close this up, put it back, even keep the tape on it so it stays in the pocket. And yeah, you know, I also look at all these things like, oh my goodness, I have all these boxes, you know, upstairs, and I'm like, how am I gonna? I need to figure this out. Oh no! All right. So he's gonna need. They come with these extra, basically ball joints kind of thing that you put the hand on. Not a huge fan of the ball joints, but let's see how well. I've always said, like, if they could just improve the technology, I would be okay with it. But okay, that part worked out pretty well, and that part worked well. Okay, good, success, awesome. Put his hand back here. Thank you for your patience. All right. So, of course, these also come with stands, which I love. Big fan of their little bases here. These are great for displaying. I mean, you can do all sorts of things. Like right now, I have them on display, kind of just in a posed position. But I can definitely see at some point, a different type of posing setup. Apparently, something just clicked on my bag over there. But all right. So now these stands have this little raise and lower thing, as I've shown in previous videos. This is to rest legs, so you want to get it up pretty high. What I find works best is get it up pretty high, rest the legs, and let it rest down. And then you have to be careful of the knees. His knees tend to be a little bit, and again, you know, you just got to kind of figure it out. I find that if I can just kind of spread legs that way, like Mary Poppins, okay, I think you'd be in good shape. All right, so there you have that, and he has his wrist and his grip ready, so he needs a lightsaber. So he comes with a few things here. Now, you've got lightning. We got some force lightning, because if you recall, he definitely showed a little bit of that. And I think what I'm going to do with this hand is he has his hand set up in a grip form, so I am going to give him, he comes with a little hollow thing, which I'll get a close-up video of. And let's see, do we want him to talk to a battle droid? We have a Sidious figure here. We have a Jango hologram figure here. We have a battle droid figure here. But I think that the most awesome one to do is, it's rolling, is this, which is the plan, the initial plan for the Death Star. So if you place this just right on his hand, boom. And you can also use something, you know, maybe a little piece of tack or something to keep it on there, or a piece of tape if you wish. And again, you got 3 types of lightsaber. You got your regular lightsaber. You've got this kind that's like a slashing lightsaber. And then, as I said, he also comes with an arm that has the lightsaber permanently attached, because that's how you set up the battery. And then you can attach, has a little on-off switch, and you can attach this to it. As I said, I was having trouble getting the arm in. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not even giving it a try. And again, part of that too is that, and I mentioned this on previous episodes, because of my displaying, I don't want to keep things too much in with batteries. I mean, there's so many cool things that toys do these days that it's just amazing. But if you keep the batteries in there, oh, the Death Star fell, which I knew was going to happen, but that's okay. If you keep the batteries in there, the problem you run into, okay, is that, all right, put that down like that. The problem you run into with batteries is that they go dead. And some batteries go dead depending on how long the batteries were sitting in storage when you first put them in, or how long they were in storage at Hot Toys or Sideshow before they put them in the box. They could go bad pretty quickly. And if they go bad pretty quickly, you run into... Okay, come on, buddy. Oh, no! It's all right. What's nice about the grips is that the grips do close up on the lightsaber, making it extremely well forged in there. All right, let's see. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, these stands are a little bit unusual, but there we go. Let's tilt this way. Get him a little bit closer. There we go. And I'm going to kind of put this underneath so his thumb's kind of holding it. All right. There we go. I've been looking forward to this. Twice the pride, double the fall. Whoops, sorry for my yanking there. My apologies. So, just an amazing likeness. Again, the 3D scan is just outstanding. I'll get some great close-ups here. It's so great to give you options. It's a price point that can price a lot of people out. I don't doubt that. And I'll be honest, I have rarely found a discounted Sideshow or Hot Toys figure. Does Sideshow even make the figures anymore, or are they just farming out the Hot Toys? I would say leave a comment or shoot me an email. And again, I apologize for that. I'm a very scared person when it comes to all of these new COPA laws, and I'm just trying to keep everything, because I do this on the side, I get a little nervous about it. But the best way you can get information about this channel is to subscribe. Okay, then you'll get all the channels will come in, and you can subscribe, and they'll always come in. So keep that in mind. But as far as this figure is concerned, really great. It's gonna, I'm figuring out ways I want to display these. Right now, they're just all kind of displaying inside of a shelf. But I'm thinking about maybe doing them in a certain type of order, and this would definitely fall into either a Sith order or a prequel order. Who knows? But it really, really works well. I don't know if they've made a Episode 2 Yoda, one where you can have him kind of leaping in the air and fighting him. There's some really great things, and again, I keep dropping the Death Star. Foreshadowing. You can do all sorts of things with these. Whoops! Except when the hand falls off. Ah! Okay. Well, I'm glad that happened because it shows you, it's not perfect. Okay. The hand does get a little bit hard to, the more you try to manipulate it, the more it can get a little bit of an issue there. So, kind of keep it there. Quickly get this. Yeah, and the other thing about this is, I will say, is his knee, his inside. Maybe that's just Christopher Lee. I know he said he had bad knees. He mentioned that if you watch one of the shows, but it does tend to lean back on it. And again, some of that is just the nature of that darn. I'm gonna have to tape that down somehow. But some of that is just the nature of the way the figure's designed, okay? But as you can see, I think it looks pretty cool like that. So, all right, so awesome figure. Again, you can take off the cape if you want, although did he ever not have the cape on? I think the cape was always there. I don't think he comes with a decapitated head version, although I suppose you can yank the head off. I wouldn't recommend it, but there you go. So again, my only criticism of Hot Toys is the hand and wrist ball joints. They're not always easy to come in together. They seem to be fine when you're first taking the figure out of the package, but when you try to replace it, again, it's a plastic. It's a soft, malleable good. You might find that the more you do it, the more loose everything becomes, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing. All right, depending on what's going on. And I found that the more you loosen it up, it gets harder to put the stuff together. So I advise to limit how much you change out the hands and change out the arms, or at least, if you're going to do it, I'm sure that there are other sites that can show you some tips and tricks and things of that nature to help make that more smooth. But just for someone like me, right out of the box, just be careful with that. But other than that, fantastic figure, fantastic likeness, awesome stuff. I cannot say enough about it. Hot Toys just does an amazing job. I wish I could, I've watched videos recently of people that have done nothing but collect Sideshow and Hot Toys figures that they just line up, and it's amazing. And I do have quite a few, but I just can't collect them all. So I have to pick and choose. But this was a good choice. Excited to have it. Glad to be sharing it with you. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, you can't really you can subscribe. Just you can't leave comments right now. Again, I'm always in the process of making changes. Okay, but check on at the end. You can always email me, darthtuba77@gmail.com. All that information is on the back end of this video. And check out all my other videos and my playlists and all everything. It's mostly Star Wars related, a little Disney content thrown in, a lot of Galaxy's Edge stuff. Again, we have a lot of high-end items. Of course, the high-end items are slowly coming like in dribs and drabs. So we might also be doing some other older unboxings, some more shelf talks. Lots of stuff coming up. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you.